Hello, Mr. Snorlaxx here, Collection of Dads. Today we're going to quickly, briefly, and won't keep much of your time, talking about whether Shudder is worth it. Now, if you know what Shudder is a Amazon subscription add-on. £5 a month, and we're going to talk about whether I think it's worth it, personally, and for £5, the value for money. And I do think there is some value for money on there because there's just a massive catalogue of horror. It's specifically horror films, so it's just a backlog of horror films, and you come across some weird and wonderful stuff. It's just, I've had a good time with it. I've seen 8 films on there now, and it's one of them where you kind of, one night I wanted to watch a horror film, so I literally signed up for the free trial, and it's one of them where you will instantly cancel it. But I thought, okay, let's give it a go. I really enjoyed the first film I watched, and then kept it going. And I've since watched 8 films, so it's great. We're going to talk about some of them. Again, I won't go into a deep dive review of all of them or anything like that. It's just more so the different styles of horror films I've seen on there, the different sort of weird and wonderful things I've seen. So I personally, as I said, just think it's great. So the first film I ended up watching from Shudder was a film called Terrified. Terrified is a Argentinian film. I quite like watching foreign films, but anyway, now and then I got the urge to watch horror film. I don't know whether it's some kind of self harm where you just sit and watch a horror film on your own with the lights off. But anyway, that night in particular, I wanted to watch a horror film. I wanted to torture myself a little bit, so I watched a film called Terrified. Now, it has got a Spanish translation, which will be put up here somewhere. Again, we would just snapshot each of them. So this is about a young boy who gets killed and comes back in a really horrible, grotesque way, and not the way you expect. Set in like what I get the impression is a small little village, not a village such, but a town in Argentina somewhere. And yeah, go watch that one. I recommend that, and I gave that 4 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. Which moves me on to my next one, which I saw was called Hell House LLC. This is probably my favourite one I've watched on there so far. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. If you're used to going to places like Tully's Farm, Shocktoberfest, stuff like that, or different horror attractions, and you wanted to carry on doing that, I would recommend not watching this film, because I no longer want to do Tully's Farm anymore or do anything like that, because this was pure nightmare fuel. Essentially about a group of guys who buy a abandoned older hotel with its own history, and you'll learn that in the film. And it's camcorder footage, so it shows the whole setup, and basically the big payoff is the opening night of opening the horror attraction. Yeah, Hell House LLC is outrageous. I gave that 4 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. Then we moved on very quickly to a film called Caveat. Don't think I liked it. I'm not saying it's a horrendous film or anything like that. It just weren't, and that's the thing with this. If you're gonna pick out random films, some will hit, some won't. And with Caveat, it's a British film, so it's very much a cat and mouse film. It just couldn't decide whether it wanted to be a psychological or sort of a slasher horror. And it just kind of got lost in its own identity, really, I'd say. But I gave that a 2 stars out of 5. Again, not a horrendous film. Just probably one that you should go and watch to make your own mind up. But I didn't like it, Then I moved on to a film called Stop Motion. It does what it says on the tin. Stop Motion is about a stop motion director making sort of her own film and her own world, and she kind of gets lost in it, in the grotesque nature of it. It's kind of one of them. It just makes you a bit uncomfortable. That's British as well. So that's something quite gritty and horrible about some British horror films. But yeah, stop motion. I liked it. I gave it 3 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd, and that's another recommendation. Go and watch that because it's got some real themes I've never quite seen in a film before, and yeah, just the unique nature of it. Which brings me on to another unique film called Late Night with the Devil. Now, Late Night with the Devil came out a few years ago. Real unique style is that it's set in a sort of the 1970s sort of talk show. So essentially the synopsis for that is quite a famous talk show host realizes the numbers on his show aren't doing as well anymore, so he pulls out all the stops, and on Halloween he brings all these weird and wonderful characters onto his stage. And yeah, the film kind of is based around that, and you'll see sort of what happens there. Yeah, real good, unique film again. I enjoyed it. I gave that 4 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. Then we move on to a film called Oddity. Now, I believe Oddity is made by the same people as Caveat. It's a lot better. It was a lot better, for sure. And this one actually had some moments so I had to pause. And yeah, a few of these actually I've had to pause and carry on when I've caught my breath a bit. It's just, this one, how do I explain it? It's almost cat and mouse as well, sort of set in a big house out in the country. A lot of darkness and just things in the shadow. Horrible, actually. Horrible. But I gave that 3.5 stars out of 5. Again, enjoyed it. Another recommendation. Then I moved on to a film called Host. This was a short one. This was about an hour in length, and I believe it was made in COVID. 2020. And it is like a Zoom chat between a bunch of friends and a sort of a medium. Yeah, very paranormal activity vibes, and yeah, ghosts, poltergeists, stuff like that. So that one, again, quite unique. Go watch it. And then the worst of the bunch, which is the latest one I watched, a film that came out in 2025. I actually believe this is Argentinian as well, actually. A film called Crazy Old Lady. Again, there would be a Spanish translation up there somewhere. This was rubbish. Don't watch this one. Well, I certainly didn't like it. Weird. No payoff. I wouldn't even waste my time. Absolute rubbish. Really is. And I believe that is all of them I've watched on there. So we watched Terrified, which I recommend. Hell House LLC, 100% recommend. Caveat, not so much. Stop Motion, recommend. Late Night with the Devil, recommend. Oddity, recommend. Host, recommend. And the 2 that didn't quite hit the mark for me so far, Crazy Old Lady and Caveat. So is Shudder worth it? Absolutely. There's a whole backlog of weird and wonderful films on there that you can go and you could spend hours. It's like any other subscription service. You can spend hours and hours sort of looking through what you're going to watch, and the same for everyone probably. So I'm going to carry on subscribing at £5 a month. Don't think it's too unreasonable at all for the massive backlog they've got. 100% recommend it. And yeah, most of them have been hits. So I will probably do another one of these at some point where we dive into the films a bit more. But is Shudder worth it? The title of this video, 100% yes. And that is my view. So go and check out Shudder again. Not a paid advertisement, just talking about it. But if you want to hear me drivel on about more stuff like this, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the bells and whistles. We've got quite a range of different videos uploaded now on Collection of Dads, so I will leave you with that. And until next time, I've been Mr. Snorlaxx. Adios.